I like the fan club in the front here. This is great. The Kelly Finley fan club. You paid them. All right. Welcome. One of the craziest outcomes, I think, of the past 18 months for so many designers in the room is navigating a pretty unprecedented kind of deluge of inquiries.
Yes.
And something I've been hearing a lot in emails and Instagram DMs is some version of the question, how should I grow? And so I'm so excited that you are here because I feel like we are catching you in the middle of a huge transformation as you've grappled with that question for your business.
Yes.
So first, when did you realize, looking back, that you wanted to look at how your firm works and maybe make a change?
I think realistically, because of my background, I worked as a lawyer for years in a large law firm, that I came from a model where it was clear, like, hierarchy. And so I always knew that I never wanted to work for my hours. Like, I didn't want the number of hours in a day to dictate what I can make. And so that also is why I went flat fee, which we talked about before. And so it was always in the back of my mind that I wanted to have other people to be able to help to have the firm grow and allow me to take on the roles that I enjoy the most. And, you know, truthfully, and just on a personal note, the things that excite me about design are the beginnings of the projects, the space planning, the drawing out, all the nerdy stuff. And, you know, I wanted somebody else to care about the pillows on the sofa because I didn't. So I was always in the plan to have someone to deal with that. And so I think I had no idea how large or how big or anything like I really wanted to go, but I definitely knew that there would always be some kind of assistance that could help.
You just hired you hired two pretty key roles to kind of help take you to the next level. Can you tell me a little bit about your operations manager and your CFO?
Yeah. So the first person I ever hired was, I call her my studio manager, and she was the person I offloaded talking to the clients, onboarding. Really, we call her almost like the customer care specialist. So everybody loves her. So even if they're mad at me or the contractor, they all love her.
Okay.
So I was able to separate out the love for the firm away from like the actual project, which was huge.
I feel like most designers want to hold on to the client loves me piece and offload the client is angry to their team. How did you end up in the reverse?
You know, I think that some clients love me and some clients could probably do without me, right? Like they want the design, but you know, I'm a very forceful person or whatever, so I think that they find solace in me having someone else who is the exact opposite, who's more gentle, who will like deal with their nonsense when I don't want to deal with it, truthfully. And so it actually it's one of those things that I didn't know how great it was until during the pandemic I did a polling of all of our clients, just because I was trying to improve.
Yeah.
And literally the funniest is everybody was saying how much they love the studio manager, even if they were complaining about something that I didn't do or whatever.
Okay.
But you know, she was great, right? And so I think that was a huge component. And then the next hire was the CFO. And that was really because although I have a business degree, I just did not want to get into those details. And so, yeah, I had a bookkeeper and the bookkeeper would send me stuff. But the bookkeeper didn't tell me whether or not this was good or not. The bookkeeper still expected me to run the numbers and to figure out my ratios. And so now I forecast, I get these summaries, and she's like, you know what? That job, Arcadia, you're only making 22% on the markup. You need to change this, and what's happening? Who messed up? Like it's just so many elements that they catch. And
so what is the role, or how does this CFO position work? Because I know it's not someone who's in your office every single day.
So it's a fractional CFO.
Fractional CFO.
Yeah,
What?
so essentially, it's a person who works with several other companies, but they have the skill set to be the CFO in a lot of companies. And so I put it out there. Like I actually hired an operations manager too, and it's a fractional. So you just essentially put out what you really need, and then you find people who don't want to be employees, right? They want to be kind of, 1099, and they're comfortable in that role. So like my operations manager works 20 hours a week, and my CFO, she charges me a flat rate, and she does all these things throughout the week. I have no idea how many hours she works, but she does all that, and she literally sends me messages like, you didn't do this. I'm sending the sales tax in. Are you okay with this number? Like it just really took a load off of me to be able to think high level about what I want the firm to be.
So it's your numbers, but it's also kind of strategic financial advice.
Oh, yes. So, I mean, so we sit down, like I said, we do forecast projections. So in March, she'll say, in May, you were supposed to make $50,000 from this project. You made 25. What's going on? And I'm like, well, none of the furniture came in. So, but it forces me to be accountable to know how much we're actually growing and if we're growing and if I can hire another person. So yeah, so when I'm ready to hire or when my staff seems overworked, I'll ask her to run numbers to see if we can hire somebody else. And so she gives me all of that information. And it's just been a load off. And it's honestly, I mean, I don't know. I'm in California, so everything's a little bit more expensive, but it's like $1,500 a month. And it's well worth every dollar. It changed the whole way I looked at the firm and my ability to really understand the numbers.
I'll say, what does that change for your personal experience as the founder and the owner and the principal of the business?
It just makes you more confident. I mean, I'm confident, and when she tells me I have more than enough money to hire another designer, I can go and do it, right? And I don't have to be guessing or save the 3 months over here and think like, oh, what? It's just that I know for the rest of the year, this is what we're projected to make. And that's great, right? Like it just takes a lot of the guesswork out that allows me to then make other choices that will grow the firm long term as well.
Well, let's talk about those other choices. So one, I know you are sort of pivoting, re-envisioning how you see yourself in the firm, right?
Yes.
We've talked a little bit about the idea that you want to be the creative director of your firm. What does that mean to you?
So the goal is to pivot. It was for my birthday, but that didn't happen. But the goal is to pivot by the end of the year to be the CEO and creative director, meaning I am no longer the person responsible for day-to-day management of clients. I can't wait. But no, I think that it really means that my team, I tell my team even now that I'm their client. Yes, we hear what the client wants and we go to all the meetings, but when they're presenting to me what we're going to present to the client, I'm their client. They have to satisfy me before they can present anything to the client. So I still get to control the direction of everything that goes out of the firm, but I don't need to know how much that fire clay tile costs. I don't need to know like what the lead time, because somebody else will do it. And right now I still hold on to some more personal projects than not, and I'm sure there'll always be one or two, but the goal is for all of it to really run through other people in terms of day to day.
How do you get there?
Well, I'm in the middle of it.
What are the steps you take kind of as you work your way towards that?
You know, we're figuring it out. It's a lot of giving trust. And it's hard. You know, I mean, I'm sure most people here started their firm and they did everything. And you order the wrong sofa, you can deal with that. You still is upset. But when somebody else that you're paying orders the wrong sofa and you have a $10,000 sofa in your living room because they did something wrong, it's harder. And so I think I have really worked with a business coach to really you have to give people the rope and you have to give them guidance. So hopefully they do what they're supposed to do. And I'm still learning, honestly. Like I am struggling on some days, and other days I'm impressed at what they can do. Like, for example, I had a family emergency a couple weeks ago. And I just couldn't. I was saying how my out of inbox message said, I'm gone for the week. If you have a design emergency, ... there are no design emergencies. Go away. And literally when I came back, my team was sending emails to clients like a boss. Like it was very, very impressive. And it's something that I think I would have never expected them to be able to do. And because they didn't have a choice, they were like, we're going to step up for you because we know you're going through stuff. And it was good to see. So I think seeing that, being very aware that I need to give them more control is helping that process. We also just hired, like literally 2 weeks ago, a procurement manager, an accounts and procurement manager. So now they're responsible for all the billing and the ordering. So I think that also, and she's like deeply embedded in the industry, and she had worked in the showroom, so she's going to know how to catch all the things that hopefully the designers might, and it gives me a little bit of peace of mind too.
Yep. You also just made your firm bi-coastal by moving to Atlanta from the Bay Area a few months ago. How does that complicate or kind of accelerate this process for you, and what is that going to look like?
It definitely accelerated it. My husband got a job in outside of Atlanta, and I guess I love him. No, I'm joking. No, but he got a job in Atlanta. So I actually had 9 months or so to plan for it, and so it accelerated. Like I actually hired a designer in Atlanta to have some support there as well. We're not taking projects there yet, but just to have the support while I'm there. It required me to kind of move some people around, decide how we wanted to do it, and it also made me think what I wanted the firm to be, because, excuse me, there's no reason that I couldn't have closed up shop and started again somewhere. But I had 7, people who were relying on me for income, and I felt that was not the right answer. We also have firmly built our reputation on being a California firm. I also am mildly obsessed with California, and so it was it's going to be I'm trying to think of it as a blessing in disguise, that I'll get the break away from the busyness of the firm, but I'll still get to come back. So right now I go back every other week.
Okay.
I'm not sure that's manageable long term, but I'm hoping by the end of the year, when I become the creative director, that they'll have it all together, and we'll be able to do more Zooms and get back to what we do.
Yeah.
Honestly, the biggest issue, which we haven't talked about, is I'm still the rainmaker, right? I'm still the only person that goes on consultations. I'm still the only person that when a client calls, after the first initial thing, I'm the one that's going and selling that job to them. So honestly, until I get someone else to do that part, I'm not sure how much I'll be able to step away. And so, I don't know how, I love business books and I love business. I can't remember if it's the E-Myth or one of them, but they say, like, if you can't step away from your business for, a long period of time and it run and grow without you, then you're still a worker, right? And so until I get to that point, I feel like that it won't be a business that can be sustained without me. And I would like to build something that's sustainable.
Do you want someone else to be able to go out and sell that job without you?
Yeah. I think that we like to think that we're super special. And I'm actually, one of the things I'm surprised the most about myself is that I'm a good salesperson. But I also think that our work speaks for itself. The type of clients we're getting now, like I was saying, how their Pinterest boards, when they come to us now, are full of our projects, right? They're not coming, before it was like, oh, you just happen to be down the street and I drove by your sign. And so I think that it's probably easy, and I just need to relinquish that. This probably is one of the last things that I'll have to figure out how to give up. I don't think that there's any special sauce necessarily that somebody else can't figure out in their own way. And so I need to get over the fact that they're coming for me, because they'll still get me, but they don't need to be sold by me to still get me. I think that's how I'm trying to think of it.
That's amazing.
We'll see.
What are you most excited about when you look at that future? What possibilities does that unlock for you?
I think of my firm as, I call it like a 3-headed beast, where I think Joy Street Design is the main design studio, and that's what allowed me to do everything, right? So that's always going to be the main thing. But I also have the nonprofit, which we give 10% of all of our profits to that nonprofit. And we actually started doing a little bit of fundraising and working with partners. And we're about to redo an entire teen youth shelter in outside of Oakland. And so that is really, really important to me, giving back. And then the other arm, which we don't have yet, but I love real estate and I want to do development. So I think that what I see is that by taking all the kind of day-to-day decisions out from my plate for the design part, it allows me to really try to grow the other elements so that it is a multifaceted business that hopefully can, weather any storms and people have secure jobs and things like that.
I want to talk for a quick second in the time we have left about the nonprofit, because I think that's such an important piece of your business. Can you just tell us a little bit about how you set that up and kind of what the mission is and how you folded that into the day-to-day life of your firm?
Yeah, I grew up in Chicago. My grandmother raised me, and I've always been very, very aware of, I've gotten to where I am because other people helped and put their trust in me, lifted me up when I needed to be. And so in any position I've ever had, I've always figured out a way to give back. If it was when I was in college, it was volunteering. When I was in law school, it was, pro bono services. And so now that I'm in this position, I really struggled with some of the volunteer efforts that I tried to do with other organizations where You know, you have random strangers coming to paint this shelter's dining room. Half of them have never picked up a paintbrush. It looks like crap. And you walk away like, oh, we did something great. And I felt like as a design professional that we should not be giving services to people kind of like, here, this is what you get. It should be more from, we are providing professional services, and this is what we want to come to you with dignity and respect, and you get exactly what our clients get in some ways. And so what we decided to do is take out the money that we raise or the money that comes from the firm, and we hire professionals, and we will take lightly used goods. So, I mean, I'm not acting like we're too good for that. We purchase things that actually fit the space. We do it all in a way that restores dignity to for the people who need it. It's like you're coming from trauma and you're dealing with stuff, and to have, you know, I mean, I just see like when little kids get the Star Wars sheets and things like that, they just get so excited, and it fills me up, and it fills me up in a way that, you know, this luxury world sometimes can't. And so it's super important, and I'm very happy. And we recently partnered with the women's shelter, and we are literally opening their first teen trafficking shelter, and I just can't wait to get in there and do it, and I'm hoping that we can continue to do that. And obviously, like with a good year like this we're having, that means more money gets to go to the nonprofit, and we get to do more. So I'm hoping, it really fuels me in the sense of saying, keep making more money in the design firm so that you'll have more money to give to the nonprofit.
Amazing. This is incredible. Thank you so much.